right, today guys, we have Alfredo's Q in. It has the AMS twin pump. Brought it to us because the fuel pressure was just dropping with the twin pump setup. So AMS, thankfully, great customer service. We troubleshoot and we found that our fuel pressure is just dropping and tanking like crazy. So we've been troubleshooting with AMS, and essentially our low pressure side is dropping off just severely. We've done a few of these AMS twin pump installs. We really haven't had any issues aside of the hop switch not kicking on when it's supposed to. We ended up replacing the hop switch with one that we use, but Derek over there at AMS did a great job. We ended up sending the whole assembly, and we tried to do as much as we could on our end, but something was going on. So we have a good revision now. The fuel pressure regulator, the relief, that's all been changed. You're going to use some of the stock stuff to fix that. And the hop switches hopefully will be adjusted correctly, but you got to check them. You got to take them apart and use your multimeter. You got to pressurize it, and you got to confirm that it's going to be doing its thing. You know, the one from AMS is adjustable, as most of them are, but you got to make sure you get continuity when you get boost pressure. So usually you want to get that continuity, that second pump to kick in, you know, around 10 to 15 pounds of boost, right around in there. So with the updates made to the setup, it is now working. So this thing was dropping down into the 15 PSI level. So undrivable, untunable, but now that that's working, we can get going and this thing can start to make some power. So there comes those cars that come into your life, of course, and they tell you it just needs a tune. Well, it doesn't just need a tune. So Exhibit A, James's car. Poor James has been through multiple shops to try and get this thing right. A lot of money. So we got it up and running without trying to completely redo and reinvent everything that's already been done before. So we got it. So when we got it, it was simple as just, hey, you just need to tune it. Well, all right. So did some combing around, put it on the dyno, got it on the rack. First thing we see is the belt is shredding after a few pulls, and it was actually walking itself off the crank pulley and some of the idler pulleys. So we ended up getting rid of this. We went back to the original still-in serpentine system without having the additional idler at the front of the cover. So took care of that, replaced the tensioner, needed a tensioner. We also replaced some of the idlers because it was squeaking like hell, making a bunch of noise. Took care of that. And then also had noticed that the actual Gates belt, the ribbed one, for the back of the blower was cracked too. So, well, you know, I don't know why it didn't get replaced at the other places, but we went ahead and replaced it. There's our tensioner. You can see, well, maybe not from there, but you can see some of the green of the belt transfer off of that Gates heavy duty belt. And then we get the car underneath and we find this guy, which I've seen this guy before. And this guy is, you know, sometimes you can mistake it for a check valve, but it's not. It's actually a filter. Problem is, I've covered this before, is these filters are way too small. You don't have enough volume of fuel to get through there. So they clog real quick. The element that they use is super inadequate. I mean, this is something you should be putting on maybe your lawnmower. So replace this. We had to make do with, you know, with where this was positioned, because this has got a different fuel system in it. It's kind of unique and custom. And again, I didn't want to redo it and have poor James spend more money to redo the entire thing. So we made do. And then of course, this is the line that is pretty kinked. So this is the feed line, and the feed line, when it was in the car, had a good kink in it, so you can kind of see it from there. So we redid that, replaced the line, and we got this thing done. It is an all-wheel drive, not making excuses for the power it should be making, but that's part of it. But the other thing is it's got a really custom exhaust in it. When I say custom, it's, you know, one of those Midas specials, crush bent. It's got some sort of cats in there that look like they don't flow very well. I can tell because it didn't take a whole lot of timing to get it to knock. So it probably had a good amount of back pressure in it. Aside of that, you know, the system would work, but it needs something a little bit better than what it's got there. I'd say they're probably even worse as far as restriction than the stock setup. But nonetheless, almost 11 pounds of boost. I know it shows 11 pounds. It reads a little high. We're about 10 pounds of boost, and we're about 470 wheel. This is on the 85, but yeah, I mean, it's being held back quite a bit by what else is left in it. But James at least has something he can drive because he's been without this car for quite some time. So we'll get it back to him. If he wants to address the other little nuances with it, he can bring it back to us and we can do that at a later time. But let him recover and let him at least have this thing back and enjoy it. You know, if it was me, at the very least, probably do the Soho light system, keep the stock intake manifold. You know, issues with that Y pipe as far as balancing airflow through there. So one mass airflow meter is reading about a volt less airflow than the other side. So that leads for some funkiness as far as trying to keep it on a math-based tune. But nonetheless, a few fixes like that will take care of this thing. And, you know, James can enjoy it for now until he gets bored of the power and we can clean up the rest of it. So there you have it. You don't see too many all-wheel drive G37s and you don't see too many of them in red.